It's Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here in Sacramento, joined by Anthony Portantino, member of the California State Senate. I have two daughters, 9th and 7th grade. They go to a school that has the following schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, they start at 8. On Wednesday, they start at 8:45 because their philosophy is they want to give kids some leeway. At least they won't be getting up at 4, 8 o'clock more than 2 days in a row. You think that may be a good start, but not enough?
Absolutely. It's so interesting. We talk about education reform. Everybody's looking for the magic solution of how to increase academic performance, how to best serve our kids. And one of the answers has been right in front of our nose for decades, and we look the other way. Every single piece of research says that middle school and high school students are starting school before their brain is prepared to succeed, and we're completely and totally missing the boat. Just by moving the start time later, no earlier than 8:30.
8:30.
Schools that have done that have seen test scores go up, college admission test scores go up, attendance go up, graduation rate goes up, and at the same time, drug use goes down, car accidents go down, and the American Psychological Association has even done a study inside the house, and they've shown that the parent-child relationship improves by starting school later.
I would not have believed you except for the following. My 9th grader, she was a terrible sleeper. She didn't sleep. She was up at 6 in the morning. She hits, 13, 14, all she wants to do is sleep.
Right.
So what you are saying, at least anecdotally, I'm living it.
Right.
I mean, it really is, and I see the distinction. For kids in elementary school, early starts seem to be actually wiser.
Right.
But once they hit, like you said, junior high or high school, anecdotally, just the Brad Pomerance story, I understand where you're going.
And that's the thing, the circadian rhythms, their brain development, the way they're wired at that age is not ready for a 7 a.m. start. I mean, my own daughter starts at 7:45.
She does, okay.
And that's just wrong. And again, we as politicians, we get criticized all the time because we don't let data and science, turn into public policy. Here's a case in point where you've got the pediatricians, American Medical Association, the Center for Disease Control, all saying middle and high school should not start any earlier than 8:30.
And what's interesting is we're fortunate, my family, in that we live close to the school. So for her 8 o'clock start, they're getting up around 7.
Right.
Her friends who take the bus, they're getting up at 6.
Right.
And there are plenty of kids who take buses. I mean, they could be getting up, even in the 5 o'clock hour.
Right.
My question, though, is if you're starting later, are you getting out later?
Of course, everything shifts back. And here's the counterintuitive piece. Everybody would say, well, won't they just stay up later? Won't they try to cram in the same amount of information just later in the day? That's true, but the benefit of the schedule works to the success of the students. So by having them sleep later in the morning, they just do better. And what's frustrating for me is all of the science is there to prove that this is the right thing to do. There was a study, I believe it was in Texas, where graduation rate went up 11%. Attendance goes up. And when you're getting your funding based on average daily attendance, this is a way where you're actually going to increase funding because you're going to get more kids in chairs.
So is the solution empowering local districts, or is the solution a state one?
Well, right now districts can do it.
Okay.
Right now districts
they
can set their own start time. They choose not to, which is very frustrating because we know what's in the best interest of the student and we're choosing not to do it. I'm generally a local control guy. I love my local school board.
Of course. Didn't you start?
No, I started in
city
council. So I'm a strong proponent of local control. But the feedback I got from superintendents when I talked to them about this issue is do it as a statewide proposal because of all the extracurricular activities have to be coordinated.
I understand, between districts and stuff.
Right, so if you have one school doing one start time and another school doing, it messes up sports schedules, extracurricular, all of everything else. So this is the one instance where I think it is extremely appropriate for the legislature to look based on pediatricians, doctors, Center for Disease Control, and every study from every state that's done this has said this is the single best thing to do.
Have other states done this?
Absolutely, other states. We're looking at a study, I believe it's from Milwaukee. Seattle, I think, is the largest school district to have implemented it from a big urban district, district-wide. Studies are looking at it, districts are looking at it, and all the data supports this.
What does the California Teachers Association say?
We haven't heard officially yet. I do know that this is something that is typically collectively bargained on the local level. And my argument to both the districts and to the teachers is this takes it away from both sides. So neither side can use this issue.
Do you know if the California School Boards Association has come out?
Again, we've been talking to them. It's early in the process. I will tell you this, that the teachers who have read about this are overwhelmingly sending me communications saying they support it. And teachers who are in districts that have made the move have been sharing their local success stories overwhelmingly. So whether it's the School Boards Association or CTA, if they reach out to the people who are doing the work, they're going to get a positive feedback.
What about your colleagues in the legislature, Democrats, Republicans?
I think we're getting some support, some questions. I mean, the two biggest questions are how does it affect transportation, and what about working parents?
Good, yeah, both good questions.
Both good questions. And as one of the researchers summed up her comments, that yes, there is going to be an inconvenience to the family, but the overriding benefit to the child outweighs the inconvenience to the family. And again, we're not looking to say start this in the fall.
I understand.
We want to have an appropriate 2-year implementation strategy. We need to deal with zero period. We need to deal with a number of things, but the science is there.
I want to ask about an epidemic that was even discussed on the presidential level during the 2016 campaign, and that is the opioid crisis. I was in the hospital recently. I had some intestinal issues, and I was given an opioid called Dilaudid, very strong opioid. Sir, it knocked my socks off, and after 2 doses, I said, no more. But there are those that can't say no more. I'm I'm not Hercules, but I just knew this is not good. I mean, what we know about opioids is it
highly addictive.
Yeah, please.
Well, I read about, actually, there was a family in my district where a son got a soccer injury, got his first prescription, got his first taste of this, changed his life, ended up ODing down the road. Then I did a little bit more research, and Sports Illustrated did a big expose about how these young people, again, teenagers, getting their first injury without the capacity. You made a decision because you were mature enough to understand your body wasn't right for this. You take a 13 or 15-year-old right from the soccer field, they get their first sports injury, they get this taste of what is a sense synthetic heroin.
And it works on pain, so you're feeling as if this is good.
It makes you feel good.
And it makes you feel good generally.
And you're a teenager, and now, a month later you're troubled. You're going to remember that time you felt really good. And so you go from sports injury to heroin addiction.
It's a gateway.
It's just wrong.
It's a gateway.
And so a lot of states are trying to, what's the right way to regulate it? Do we do 5-day prescriptions? How do we control it? So my proposal is, you know what, let's just take a timeout. Let's just say, if you're under 21, you can't have this prescription, period.
Interesting.
And then let the healthcare professionals figure out the appropriate pain medications, let the researchers try to come up with a non-addictive pain, which there are alternatives. Some of them are more expensive.
We have a 21-year-old limit for alcohol, for marijuana. I mean, this is a prescription, so it's an interesting approach.
And I'm just saying, people with the life skills and life experiences like you can make that decision. A teenager who's getting their first injury, first euphoria, first high, I'm just saying timeout. Now,
will you come back and talk about this? It's an important issue.
Because we're going to work with the medical community on appropriate places. But
he's Senator Anthony Portantino. I'm Brad Pomerance, Local Edition.